What's good, guys? So my name is Chris, or Blue Infinity, and I'm a music producer, primarily a sample maker, and I'm going to break down this really lush, amazing R&B sample that has this kind of triumphant, emotional feeling to it, and I'm going to break down every VST plugin and effect that I've used on it, and this is what it sounds like. So I want to preface by saying that this whole project has been pitched down 4 semitones. It was originally in B flat minor, and now it's been pitched down to F sharp essentially. And let's just start with the main melodies. So this is the original melody that I started with, and this was on a contact bank called Noah Felt, and there's amazing piano sounds in this. I used the tremolo felt preset, and this is the melody that I played without any plugins. So a bit of a weird and kind of uninteresting melody. The main thing I was doing was taking what were just these chords and kind of strumming them up. What I ended up doing is adding some compression. I added some RC20 for that kind of vinyl crackle. I added halftime on it, added a bunch of reverb, and I added this Cymatics Illusion plugin, which gave it this kind of weird pitch bendy effect. And I've been using this a lot more recently, and it made the piano sound like this. So a lot more ambient, slow, and just easier to kind of work with. So I really like what the halftime did there. And I also took that and applied it to this preset. This is a default 200 bass preset within the Wurli 5. This is from Arturia. It's an awesome VST I've been using recently. And all I did was added some compression again and a bunch of reverb and some more halftime, kind of doing the same thing, and it sounded like this. So here how I've pitched it up an octave. And for the bass, I used the analog knocker bass, and this is from Omnisphere, and it was just playing a very simple progression which sounded like this. Just a little stop. Super simple, just filled out that low end really nicely. And then I have this vocal sample which I just got from Splice. So this is the original vocal sample that I took from Splice.
I've been all alone, no one left to hold.
So soulful.
I've been all alone.
So I took that, I chopped it up a bit and added a lot of effects on this. I pitched it up 6 semitones to match the project. I added a bunch of RVox, which is just compression, added a little bit of Little Alter Boy, just pitching down the formant, and then added a bunch more compression, some reverb, RC20, some multi-band compression, just boosting those highs, compressing them even more. Added some EQ, just cutting out the lows all the way up to 500 Hertz, and then added even more EQ, just cutting out a lot of the highs and the lows again. So it sounds like this now. And I really like what the RC20 was doing in this. And I use this transform preset, which is from Drew Adu's RC20 bank. And it just gave it that kind of wide wobble. So without, it sounds like this. And then with, You can hear it going right, left. Just giving it a bit more of that kind of digital distortion. Now, I've spoken about this before, but I think it's really important that if you're making ambient or atmospheric samples, especially stuff in R&B, I would use ambience, noise, things like white noise, pink noise, vinyl crackle, cassette, VHS sounds, rain, walking, talking, like anything like that will add and create an entire atmosphere around your melodies, and it's just going to make your samples, your loops sound a lot more interesting and almost like 3D, because you are creating an atmosphere around what are just digital noises. So that's what I have playing here. It's very subtle. Just some like vinyl static in the background. And the next layer is taken from my Mirage texture and accents kit, and it sounds like this. And it's just such a nice accent for this section, so listen to this. It just sits so nicely in the background, and especially when it just starts to repeat throughout the sample, it just works so well. Then I have this little like kind of synthy phrase, and it sounds like this. So just a nice little ARP, and that just helps accent that next hit, especially when a lot of these layers drop out. It's really important that in your loops, your samples, you have variation in your arrangement. So you have, you know, the main chorus where you might have a lot of extra layers or all the layers that you've made, and then you have space for the listener, for the producer to kind of breathe. There's more room for a verse and just drums and other things. So make sure you've got a lot of different sections where different things are happening, and there's more to choose from as a producer that you can then flip. So, and then I took this one other phrase from my Mirage kit called Wurli. Trust me, random ass names, but they sound good. And I just threw on a bunch of delay, a bit of EQ, cutting out the lows, and it sounds like this. So in context, so just a nice little swell, and it's just really nice to have those like kind of things and textures that come in, come out, and especially swells if you want a bit more impact on that next bar. So, and then I have this final texture which honestly just did so much for the sample. It was just the icing on the cake, and this was a texture taken from Joe Made and Truly David's multi-kit called Polytonal. It's this Thorns 1 texture, and it's just a really nice kind of guitar sound. If I take off all the plugins and just play it even with the chops, this is what it sounds like. It's just got that nice kind of ear candy guitar texture going on, and I pitched that up a full octave. I used Portal, and this Portal preset was really important for the sound because without it, it sounds like this. But I wanted a bit more happening, so as soon as I added this Scattered Thought preset, this is what I got. Keep in mind it's a lower mix. So it just gave it some cool granular kind of glitchy effects with a bit of delay, reverb. It just really brought some life to this phrase. And then I added some delay, just some EQ, cutting out lows, cutting out highs. I added more Portal, except on this one I added the fourth shape pan, so it was just giving it this kind of chop and rhythmic drive to it, cutting out more lows with an EQ, and now it sounds like this. Back in, and there's just so much room on this sample for drums, for a producer to flip it, to have an artist on top. And I've been getting so much better at just simplifying my melodies and my loops and not having so many layers take up space and not leaving any for the drums or the artist. So yeah, so I just really love how this one came out. It's just a nice ambient R&B sample, and it just does what it needs to do. So yeah, if you want to see a bunch more sample breakdowns and even cookups like this, then subscribe to see more. And if you want to use half the phrases and sounds that I used in this exact sample, as well as all my actual compositions with stems included, you can check the link below. They'll all be there. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.